Story number 1. She smelled smoke and discovered fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Proverbs. Homage to Ari Matthews. All roads lead to fire. Where there's smoke, there's a way. A rolling stone gathers no fire. Where there's smoke, wait for no man. The road to hell leads to fire. Where there's smoke must come down. When the cat's away, there's fire. Where smoke has its day, what goes up must in flames. Story 1A. I saw the fire and tried to put it out. Came fire at a glance. As of June 21st, Farmer's birthday, 2002. Size, about 137,000 acres. Containment, 45%. Evacuations, about 8,200. Damage, 95 structures and at least 79 homes destroyed. On scene, 2,508 personnel. Cost, $17.3 million. Views, vision, close-up of the face of our heroine, seen in the stuttered, almost stills of an old silent movie, in black and white or slightly too lurid color, but always registering shock and increasing dismay. Repeat as desired. Story number 2. A letter from her estranged husband upset her, and she tried to burn it. And before she knew it, or the next thing she knew, or advice from a fiction writer, dead. You've got to sell your heart, your strongest reactions, not the little minor things that only touch you lightly. This is especially true when you begin to write, when you have not yet discovered the tricks of interesting people on paper, when you have none of the technique which it takes time to learn, when, in short, you have only your emotions to sell. Backstory. Our heroine's 2 teenage daughters sneak an old letter of their father's into their mother's day pack before she goes off to work. Their goal, repairing the marriage. Her job, protecting the wilderness. Backdraft. Darling, I can't live without you, etc. The girls read the trite phrases over to each other in odd, hushed whispers, punctuated by, on the part of the youngest, fits of uncomfortable giggles. In short, they read it like teenage girls. They are teenage girls. We know what that means. Questions for further study. What does that mean? Questions for further study. Are you thinking here of the book or the movie, the original or the remake of The Parent Trap? Questions for further study. How did the girls get their hands on the letter? And the word was right. Riri Lacan and Poe's story The Prolonged Letter. Also, Walter Benjamin, the reader warms his shivering life with the death he reads about from The Storyteller. She was so upset after reading the letter that she burned it inside a campfire ring, but it escaped, accidentally igniting Colorado's largest wildfire. Questions for further study. What work is accidentally doing in the above sentence? Questions for further study. Ditto, largest wildfire. Outtakes, or everybody's ex. The stuff of these events burns so fast, there's been no time to establish or absorb any single story, or to see a previous version be replaced by another, so that all the possible truths seem still to be in play, although able uneasily only to acknowledge each other. Remember the Zero story? Something about a car spotted fleeing the scene. Was a male figure mentioned, or did I make that up? Some guy, boiling water for coffee or noodles, or ready in an instant, as if he himself were a reconstituted soup mix. This character, you know, the beer in his hand, the car radio blaring, smoke on the water, the story he tells himself in half phrases. Shit, she's beloved here. The way he roughly brushes at his eyes with the back of his fist and tosses his cigarette butt at the campfire pit. Ah, god damn it. Note from a creative writing textbook, fiction, a false line of dialogue can ruin an entire scene. Story number 3A. What's this paper doing here? Our heroine pulls her ex-husband's letter from her pack, alone in the forest, and breaks down, deciding to burn it at once, which we are meant to understand or to be understanding about, although she's in fact on duty in her role as a Forest Service technician enforcing a ban on fires. It speaks. A failure of understanding is often figured as a failure of grasp. We say, X doesn't get it. We say, the meaning completely escaped her. Anne Carson remarks Paul Celan's idea of language as net or grill work, sprachgitter, in whose limits and meshes we are, quote, cleansed of the illusion that we could talk. Story 3B. Her husband has, quote, told investigators he never wrote her a letter. Prosecutors also said there was no evidence of burned paper at the scene, but they are still conducting tests on the debris. Discussion topic, technologies and gestures, or the company barbecue. Unquestioned understanding. Of course you burn a love letter, historical and literary precedents, the wings of the dove, etc., but even as we imagine the tender words, have tears splotched the paper, vanishing into black ash, a question occurs. What if, as is so likely in our moment, the letter was written on a computer? C.F. Benjamin, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction, etc. Oh, not a love letter? Our desire to allot specific technologies to defined areas of feeling and limited gestures is itself worth a paper. Discuss the differences in texture of event between burning a love letter and shredding documents. Why don't we shred love letters? If it comes out that Ollie North and Tom Hall sat up late burning the Iran-Contra evidence together, do we think they were in love? What's changed if employees at Arthur Andersen burn papers relating to the Enron account? And if the papers are used to help the cold catch beneath that startled and spit-suckling pig on a spit as full of righteous indignation as any executive? Question. What would you say from a house on fire? Answer. A fire. Backdraft. For days now we've been reading, under the news reports, the easy cliches this letter would have had to include. A fire beginning, I love you. A fire beginning, I want to start over. The tears in the reader's eyes give the air a heat shimmer. Okay, now you have 2 hours to go back in and bring out everything you want to say forever. As is so often the case, the words had a powerful effect, though not the one intended by their author. Hey Ray, what do you say? In more stories than I can count, which function despite appearances as instruction manuals for if not good then at least better behavior, our heroine brusquely crumples the letter, thinks for a minute, unfolds it again, and putting the offending document on the seat beside her, drives home. If she doesn't have the possibly requisite underbender, late 20th century epiphany territory, a chance for some necessary soul-searching, she arrives home. No, the girls are at school, lowers the blind, pours herself a drink, and plays something like Smoke on the Water, or Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, over and over. It's as if what she's read has seared itself into her memory, the rhythm of those terse sentences with their focus on physical details, e.g., the sound of the ice against the glass made a cool noise which pleased her. The rule. Sometimes trying to rekindle an old flame works, but frequently the best advice we can give a woman who thinks she's still in love with her ex is, next. The plea, innocence. The sentence. We have yet to take our thinking about fiction to the level of the sentence. Story number 4. In the custody of the third person, the report lists our protagonist age, 38, in the sentence describing her as, quote, dry-eyed as she entered the plea. The report continues, but after Thursday's hearing got underway, she wiped away tears and reached for a tissue as one witness, U.S. Forest Service Special Agent Brenda Schultz, said it appeared she had moved rocks from a campfire to allow the fire to escape and ignite surrounding brush. Tip sheet. It's a tremendous challenge to transform characters made of ink and paper into people capable of drawing laughter and tears from unknown readers. The creation of the hero and heroine in a romance can be fraught with unique problems, and as the number of romance novels multiplies daily,